Hey everybody, my name is Michael. In this video I'm going to show how I got a nice laser engrave of this file that I purchased off of Etsy using the X-Tool D1 10-watt laser. So I got this file and a number of others off of GF $5. And here's actually my review right here. I have X-Tool D1 10-watt. This is a picture of my results. I think that's really pretty nice. It's a lot better in person. But let's get started. So I downloaded the file. It came with this cut line. It's a SVG. And it came with this PNG file, which is about 10 megabytes. Your PNG files, if they're anything like this, should be roughly 10 megabytes, maybe more. If they're less than 1 megabyte, like if the size is in KB, then there may be something wrong with the file. You may have to delete it and re-download it. But you should click on your file and view it and make sure it's what you think it is before you try lasering it. That's just a copy that I made. This is the picture of my results. So download the files, look at them, make sure they are what you want. Open up your laser. I'm using Laserbox Basic. A lot of people like Lightburn because it's more powerful. It offers more functionality, more options for power users. I am a very basic user. I have very basic needs. And for me, Laserbox is very easy to use and it does what I need. So I open Laserbox Basic. I drag in the PNG file. It may take a moment to load. I am using, there it is. I'm using a 12-inch square Baltic birch plywood. So I'm going to resize it to 292 millimeters, which is roughly 11.5 inches. And then from the settings that I like to use, I don't know if it matters if you pick one of these. I'm going to change them anyway, but I picked basswood. 100 power, 75 speed. If you notice that as you continue to do projects, if you notice that they become lighter and lighter as you do your projects, then you need to clean your laser. Take apart the lens and soak it and clean all the gunk off, and then it will start printing dark again. Bidirectional means the laser burns this way, and then it burns this way, and then it burns this way. It gives it a nice appearance versus unidirectional, which means it burns this way, and it comes back, and then it burns this way, and then it comes back, and then it burns this way. I started putting my projects up at 160 lines per centimeter. It gives it a greater resolution. There's fewer noticeable lines. I don't know if y'all have seen 3D printed models, but there are layer lines. If you have larger layers, and the smaller the layers are, the fewer lines are visible. So this is kind of the same thing. The more lines you have, the less visible they'll be. So I started using 160. However, that greatly increases the time of the project. So play with that. I like to use 100% sharpness every time. And you can play with the grayscale settings, but ultimately I just left them alone. Sometimes I move this one down a little bit for the really dark images. But for this particular one, cabin project, I left it at the extremes of this scale. And then for some projects, the outline tool works really nicely. You highlight your image and then click on outline, and it puts an outline around it that you can then set to cut. Yeah, can then set it to cut, and it will cut nicely around your outline. But this file, this image, has some areas in here that are not really defined dark enough, and so the outline tool goes into this area and thinks that should be cut out when we don't want that to be cut out. So you can play with the outline tool, but this particular project was supplied with this cut outline by the seller. So I'll drag that into my project. It's very big, so I need to put that at the same size as the cabin that I had. So the cabin here, I set that with a width of 292, so I'll do the same for the outline. 292. Where did it go? It's way over here. There it is. I'm going to set it to cut. For my plywood, I do 100% at 2 millimeters with one pass. And then I'll move this. You can use the arrow keys to get a better alignment. Right there, either one of those looks really good. So right there you go. I would, once you find settings that you really like, after you played with it, I would go up here and I would export your project if you plan on doing this more than once. And that way, the next time you want to do it, you just import the project and it saves all your settings and everything. So at this point, you can connect to your printer and send it to your printer or your laser and let it go.